Hello everyone, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. It's Thursday, August 24th. I'm Batsir Namshar. Our top stories for News Mongolia. The closing ceremony of the Ulaanbaatar 2023 East Asian Youth Games held. The Ethical Business Sustainable Growth discussion was conducted. Hun Party, chosen air pollution reduction project submitted to Ulaanbaatar City Council. For the news, stay tuned. In a grand celebration of youth sportsmanship and cultural diversity, the Ulaanbaatar 2023 East Asian Youth Games came to a thrilling conclusion with a mesmerizing closing ceremony at the iconic Sukhpatri Square. The event marked the end of days filled with exhilarating competitions, fostering friendships among nations and promoting the spirit of healthy competition.
Under the theme Light the Fire of Dreams, the closing ceremony commenced with a symbolic tribute to the National Olympic Committees that participated in the Games. Flags of the participating countries, People's Republic of China, Hong Kong, China, Japan, Republic of Korea, Macau, China, Chinese Taipei, and Mongolia were proudly displayed representing the unity and camaraderie of East Asian nations. The ceremony was graced by an esteemed assembly of guests, including Mr. Patirtan Badmanimbo, Minister and Chairman of the National Committee for the Olympic Movement, Physical Activities and Sports, Mr. Patushik Batpolt, the President of the Mongolian National Olympic Committee, and other officials. Also present was Mr. Wei Daishun, the Secretary General of the East Asian Olympic Committees, along with various other dignitaries. The heartwarming anthem of the East Asian Youth Games, Let's Light the Fire of Dreams Together, fills the air, resonating with the shared aspirations and determination of the young athletes who had competed fervently over the past few days. The anthem's rendition by talented singer Ingun Sayendash evoked a sense of unity and hope among the crowd. As the evening transitioned, the focus shifted to the evening of Ulaanbaatar, a captivating night performance concert that encapsulated the city's rich culture and artistic flair. The Ulaanbaatar 2023 East Asian Youth Games concluded on a high note, leaving a legacy of unforgettable moments, shared dreams, and lasting friendships. The event not only celebrated athletic achievements, but also fostered cultural exchange, promoting understanding and unity among the diverse nations of East Asia.
Every business must uphold a sense of responsibility and ethical values that honor human rights. In doing so, a business lays the groundwork for enduring and stable growth in the future. This underlines the expert consensus that regardless of the size of business or industry, prioritizing responsibility and sustainability is paramount. These values should remain central, guiding the course of operation.
Putting human rights at the heart of its values, the company holds a responsibility to uphold them in its day-to-day operations. This extends to all stakeholders, encompassing not just employees, but also consumers and customers, fueling further growth. As a step in this direction, in partnership with Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Rio Tinto Mongolia, a training course is underway aiming to educate entrepreneurs about ethical business practices.
Mongolia is a young democracy, just about 30 years old, and therefore it is also strengthening its private sector businesses. And earlier, being from a socialist time, most of the businesses were government-run. So in terms of the larger framework for development, which is the Sustainable Development Goals, which is towards the same direction as the Mongolia's Vision 2050, we have goal number 16, which talks about effective institutions and based on good governance, based on practices and making sure the government and private sector and all the entities that enable institutions to run based on human rights, based on principles and ethics that hold the foundation strongly and enable development and growth for businesses, for the governments, for the people of the country and therefore enabling sustainable growth and development.
The United Nations has had a significant and enduring impact on the world. Since joining this program in 2000, Rio Tinto has been actively involved in this area for the past 23 years. Business representatives from diverse industries are working together to share ideas on how to increase their competitiveness.
The company's ethics are manifested through evidence-based decision-making and a keen understanding of rules and responsibilities. Businesses can establish a strong ethical foundation through our Business Ethics Center. Ethical conduct involves demonstrating a commitment to refraining from activities that could be detrimental to society. The 10 principles of the United Nations Global Compact and the guiding principles of business and human rights outline the ethical standards that businesses should follow. Collaboratively, Rio Tinto Mongolia and the Mongolian National Chamber of Commerce and Industry have established a Business Ethics Center. This center conducts regular training sessions and discussions aimed at entrepreneurs.
500 billion Mongolian turks worth of bonds have been issued by Ulaanbaatar city government. Out of this total, 177 billion MNT will be used to buy Chinese semi-coking coal. The Hun party has, however, expressed its concern that this choice might not have the intended outcome.
Instead, they have stated that they intend to use the 177 billion MNT allotted to them to identify policy projects and measures that can be implemented in 2023 with the aim of reducing air pollution in the nation's capital. A decision-making procedure will be used to decide on these chosen initiatives. Furthermore, the Home Party has initiated the competition for initiatives aimed at reducing air pollution, with the intention of gathering and implementing creative suggestions from residents as an effective strategy to address the issue of air pollution.
They must thoroughly explore alternative financing options if they intend to use public funds for this project. It's of paramount importance to position the suggested purchase of semi-coking coal as the most effective and optimal choice. However, this critical introduction appears to be lacking. The details provided solely pertain to the purchase of semi-coking coal and the allocation of 177 billion MNT for this purpose. Notably, this allocation represents a significant financial investment. You're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. Mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin, who led a brief armed rebellion against the Russian military earlier this year, was aboard a plane that crashed north of Moscow on Wednesday, killing all 10 people on board, according to Russia's civil aviation agency.
A private jet crashed in Russia on Wednesday, resulting in the tragic deaths of all 10 people on board, as reported by emergency officials. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of a mercenary group, was listed as a passenger, though it remains uncertain whether he was actually on the plane. Russian state television released a statement from the Federal Air Transport Agency, providing details about the individuals on board the aircraft. The crash occurred in the Tver region and claimed the lives of all 10 occupants. The plane carrying 3 pilots and 7 passengers was en route from Moscow to Petersburg when it went down over 100 kilometers north of the capital. Officials cited by Russia's state news agency TASS reported the incident. Flight tracking data reviewed by the Associated Press showed a private jet previously used by Prigozhin taking off from Moscow on Wednesday evening. However, the transponder signal disappeared just minutes later. The signal abruptly ceased during the plane's ascent at cruising altitude and speed. An image shared by pro-Wagner social media account displayed the wreckage in flames, revealing a partial tail number matching that of a jet previously associated with Prigozhin. Amid reports of Yevgeny Prigozhin's death in the plane crash, people brought flowers and candles to makeshift memorial outside Wagner's office building on Thursday. News of the plane crash in Russia prompted a response from the White House, with President Joe Biden reportedly briefed on the incident. The White House's National Security Council spokesperson, Adrienne Watson, released an earlier statement noting that officials were closely monitoring reports of the plane crash. If confirmed, no one should be surprised. The disastrous war in Ukraine led to private army marching on Moscow, and now it seems to have led to this, she commented.
Androids could provide emotional support or even fill the role of friends and family if one Chinese robotics developer gets its way. The company is showing off its early lifelike robotic faces at an industry event in Beijing.
Uncannily human, but the grey pallor gives the game away. While the idea of seeking emotional support from an android that looks like something from a science fiction movie may sound surreal, a Chinese tech company is trying to make it real. Li Boyang, CEO of X Robots, pulls some faces in front of screen which detects them and gets the robotic faces to replicate them in real time. With a human-like skin, facial expressions, and physical movement, as well as the ability of a certain level of language expression, these robots are designed to act like humans and engage with emotions.
We think that the final form of humanoid robots should be infinitely close to humans. In this case, we need to add interactions of other dimensions compared with other smart devices. Ours have an additional dimensions of expressions to be used in interactions, especially in the service sector. We always say service with a smile is a very high standard, but so many intelligent devices don't have smiles, so we think the service is insufficient. But with facial expressions and the expansion of emotions, it's possible that every frown and smile will touch people greatly.
The robots on display are among the most popular at the annual World Robot Conference in Beijing. Thanks to artificial intelligence and language models, the robots are able to interact with humans in a natural way while generating corresponding facial expressions, according to Li. The real secret of lifelikeness lies in the dozens of movable electric units on the robotic faces, which can pull hundreds of expressions either generated by a specialized system through analysis or based on biological data collected from human faces.
The greater the number of electric components, the more flexibility there is, and the more details can be restored. In terms of the number of facial expressions, actually during the training process, we don't really do it in the traditional way, with using a certain number of human faces and facial expressions to train them. Instead, what we do is to reproduce every movable part of it, and ultimately the number of facial expressions presented is a permutation and combination of changes of these movable parts. The permutations and combinations produce hundreds of such facial expressions.
And the use of polymer materials and highly accurate 3D scanning gives a natural touch to the skin. Swap the gray tone with the natural skin color and here's the result. Li says the robots are meant to satisfy people's emotional needs in fast-paced and aging society. He speculates that they could even replace human relationships. X Robots is based in the northeastern Chinese city of Dalian. The World Robot Conference ran until August 22nd.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.